in for a walk and talk and some little deep thoughts on my part. It's been a while since I've recorded anything. Maybe a couple of weeks. Maybe a little less than that. But anyways, yesterday we buried my oldest brother, and it was quite an emotional couple days, and it was expected, but not this quickly. But there's some wonderful thing. It's just a wonderful couple days with the viewing and the funeral that I just wanted to touch on a few thoughts that came to me. First of all, at the funeral, a former missionary friend of his, they had him sing a number, and oh my heavens, it ripped my heart out and wrung out all the last tear, not the last tear, but tears of me. The lyrics just were so, I wanted to give a little plug for that. And later I went home and I looked up this version of it, and there's a version of it. The song is from a movement from Dvorak's Symphony for America, or is it Symphony for the World? Largo, the segment, the movement Largo. But I found out from the same guy who sang this at the funeral in the church later. Also, the guy who played the bagpipes at the graveside dedication and burial of my brother. And I went over, I got to finally thank him there. I said, "Oh, thank you." And he gave me a little bit of background on this piece. He said, well, Dvorak, I guess, wrote this, maybe it was for America, wrote this for America to be a kind of a symphony celebrating America. It was a relatively new country, I think back in the 1800s. And then I guess he wrote it kind of to sound like a Southern gospel spiritual. And I guess years later, probably somebody else wrote the lyrics. And now it's known as the tune Going Home. And if you want to check this out, I highly recommend you do. If you've had a recent death in the family, or approaching death, or for whatever reason, if you're spending a lot of time thinking about death, this is such a great piece. Alex Boyer, wonderful black singer who sings with the Tabernacle Choir, or sung with the Tabernacle Choir on various occasions. I don't know if he's a regular, but it's from 10 years ago. But there's a piece with the played with the Tabernacle Choir and the something symphony. I don't know if it's the Tabernacle Symphony, or if there's such a thing still, or whatever, but oh my heavens, please listen to it and see if you can keep from crying. It's just a wonderful piece of music, but written by Dvorak, a famous composer from, where is he from? Russia? I'm not sure where he was from, but oh my heavens. And I want to learn this on guitar, or a simple version of it on guitar. And I just talked to my wife about it, and she said, we used to sing that in Japan as children. There's Japanese lyrics to it. And on a previous video, I think I was talking with Scott Palmer about this. In Japan, they don't waste a minute of the time to educate our children, but during lunch they would make the kids listen to the classics. And I don't know if this is a part of that or whatever, or how my wife knows it, but there's this Going Home, this song, there's Japanese lyrics to it, and oh my heavens, it's a universal song. But and I'll try to remember the gist of the lyrics here in a second, but please take a listen to it. Oh my heavens. But another thought, before I do that, a thought that struck me, going home, you know, is about dying and going back to our heavenly home and everything, and our loved ones will be there, and kind of a great reunion. But as I was sitting there, I was thinking, oh man, the funeral itself is also kind of a reunion. Between the viewing and the funeral, I don't know, there were several old neighbors and friends from my old neighborhood. It was literally felt like a going home for me, and probably for many relatives that were kind of been alienated from the group, showed up, and it's kind of a coming home for them. But anyways, see if I can remember the lyrics. Probably not absolutely correct, but he said, going home, going home. I'm just going home. I'm going to a place that's not far from here, and through an open door, and waiting there. Mother is waiting there for me, expecting me, and so is Father, and all the friends that I knew. Oh man, so touching. The music was touching, and the words were touching. It was like just when this guy was singing it, the bagpipes, the bagpipe player who played the bagpipes at the grave. It was a busy day. Man, I wept from start to finish. That was just like it wrung the not the last tears, obviously, but the tears out of me. It was such a warm, just like love and unconditional love just being swept over you. And oh man, it was just out of this world. And I hope everybody there felt it. I don't know. My brother Phil, just for a few words about him, he was such a good big brother, but he did have a little bit of a scary side. He grew up with having epileptic seizures, and my youngest memories of him when I was just a baby was him having an epileptic seizure, and they were pretty violent. And I remember the family panicking, and I think there was always a fear that they would swallow the tongue, and it was just a violent experience. And then he would come out of it, and he would just sleep for hours. And I forgot about this, but my sister Mary told a little story afterwards that he would be out on his bike, and he could feel when one was coming on. Feel when one was coming on, so he had time enough to pull over to the side of the road. And this one particular incident she was talking about, oh wow, he went over and laid down in a ditch, and had a seizure, and then about the time he came to, a police officer showed up, and he said, what are you doing down here? And he said, I can't remember. He said, oh, I just lost something. I was looking for something I lost. And this is the earliest memories of him. So, I mean, these experiences with epilepsy had to shape him somehow. But he had such a loving, gentle, forgiving side to him, and he would cry at the seemingly everybody in our family cries at the drop of a hat, but he had such a tender side, and And my daughters told a experience that I had forgotten. That when we were in Japan, when my mother died, it was right around Christmas time, and we all immediately had to just rush, not rush, but I mean a day or two to get ready to go on the airplane and come home in time, well, to see her before she died. And we didn't know she was going to die, I don't think at that time, but anyways, my kids were there, and we didn't have time to get ready for Christmas. And my oldest daughters, Phil and his wife Kathy had prepared a basket or a sack of gifts and videos, and one that she remembered was Shrek. For some reason she remembers the first Shrek movie back in, let's see, I think it was 2002. Well, 2001 was when we flew over in Christmas 2001, and then she died a couple days into, what was it? I think into, oh no. I think we had a funeral on Christmas Eve. Now, was that my dad? Everything's kind of melting into everything else, but and she said, "Oh, you remember that thing Phil did for us, and it meant so much to me." And I go, "Oh my heavens!" But anyways, he had a bit of a temper, and you didn't want to cross him in the wrong way. He had kind of a temper, so in that sense, I was always kind of not scared, not always scared of him, but cautious, or don't set Phil off. But anyways, a low battery. Hopefully. Anyways, so we'll wrap this up soon. But anyways, just a great couple of days at his funeral, and anyways, this song in particular just kind of encapsulated, and I guess that was his choice, because I guess the family approached, confronted him before he died, and said, "Phil, you got to help us prepare for your funeral." And I think he reluctantly, he didn't want to do that, and he reluctantly picked this song. And I thought, oh, it's so fitting. It will, I'll be surprised if you don't feel something. Anyways, that's my deep thoughts and walk and talk for the day, and I'll finish by showing you with the weather here in Bountiful. I'll give you a back view of what I'm seeing, walking down this desert climate, but it's a nice, we're still in September, right? Still in September, almost October, but I think it's the 24th or 25th today, something like that. But anyways, life is good, but it's tough, and there's so much that's sad about it, so much that's difficult about it, but so much joy. Oh, one more thing about the lyrics. I just remembered this just now because it kind of relates to the eye-opening that I got from my medical issues. But it says something to the effect that no more, let's see, no more loss, or no more pain. It's all, there's nothing lost, everything to gain, and now our real life begins. And I sure hope that is the case. I believe it. I believe it is. We have to have that faith. But without that faith, what a grim life this would be. But anyway, so we had a lot of laughs telling Phil stories at the dinner after the burial, and a lot of tears, a lot of laughs. And it's just all around good couple of days, but I was exhausted. But anyways, thank you for listening. I hope this does you some good. Thank you. Bye-bye.